There are more than 1,000 islands in the St. Lawrence River. Their beauty and legends have fascinated people for centuries. They're best explored from the air or from the water. The countless chunks of rock are small miracles of nature. In the north of the American continent, at the start of the St. Lawrence River, are the Thousand Islands. 2/3 of them belong to Canada, 1/3 to the United States. Alexandria Bay, the heart of the Thousand Islands, is the easternmost U.S. town. At the end of the 19th century, it was the sought-after holiday region for rich North Americans. In 1872, they had a railway line specially laid from New York to Alexandria Bay. One leftover of that time is Millionaire's Row. The glamorous history of that time is told by the fairy tale Boldt Castle on Hart Island. Built in around 1900 by a formerly poor young fisherman from the German island of Rügen. He made it from dishwasher to millionaire in the New World.
Boldt Castle was built by George Boldt. George Boldt came to the United States in 1864 as a Prussian immigrant, only age 13, by himself, working very hard in the city of New York, and worked his way up into the hotel restaurant business.
With great success, he became one of America's richest hotel magnates and ran the famous Waldorf Astoria. When he fell in love with the landscape during a visit to the Thousand Islands, he had this castle built in the romantic style for his wife Louisa. It was to be the largest and most beautiful private residence in North America, and a symbol of his love.
He was very much in love with his wife, and this is a testament to his love for his wife, Boldt Castle. It's here on Hart Island. He reshaped the island to form a heart. And you will see it in the castle, in the stonework, in the wrought ironwork, and even in the woodwork, hearts. Hearts are a big factor in this design of Boldt Castle.
But even before its completion, Louisa died quite suddenly. Boldt immediately halted all building activity and never set foot on the island again. However, descendants claim that Louisa cheated on her husband with a stonemason. That's why the cuckolded husband chased all the workers off the island. The property became derelict until the Thousand Islands Bridge Authority took it over 40 years ago.
We received the properties in 1977. They were in a terrible state of disrepair. So we've replaced over 300 windows in the main castle. 30,000 square feet of roofing had to be replaced on the main castle as well. Masonry work continues probably forever because it is a stone structure. And it's just it's a large castle. I don't think will ever be finished.
They're currently working on restoring the billiards room in one of the towers. It's an elaborate project.
Yeah, all the framing here is new, of course, and with the pictures here, you can see it's the original plaster. Mm-hmm. And before we tore that down, we made all templates, so we knew exactly where they were in reference to the floor, the walls, the rooms, so we got everything back in the same place.
Everything was photographed over and over.
Yep. It's what we call the island factor. It's very difficult and time-consuming to do work on an island because all of your material has to come on a truck. We have to put it on a barge, handle it again, bring it over here, unload it, and then bring it to the job site. And we're limited on time that we can work here because during the winter months it freezes here and we have ice, so it's too thick to come by boat. and it's not thick enough to walk on. So there's probably 3 months of the year that we can't access the island.
Today, the island is one of the region's main attractions. It gets more than 200,000 visitors a year and sees 70 weddings, both American and Canadian. The border between the two countries runs between the Thousand Islands for 80 kilometers straight through the St. Lawrence River. According to the border treaty, none of the islands is allowed to belong to both countries. Sovereignty always has to be clear. Or is there an exception? The Zavikon Islands are a particular tourist attraction since they're connected with each other by the shortest international bridge in the world. Dave Sheridan doesn't share that opinion. As a young boy, he was helping his uncle in the garden and discovered border markings.
Seeing those markers, and I recall cutting the lawn around those markers, I recall that was sort of a confirmation that, in fact, the boundary may not be underneath the bridge, but certainly that island is partially American, because it does, from what I remember, we'll have to have a look at that today, it does seem to designate between Canada and the U.S. sides. Hi, Don. It's great to see you.
Welcome to Zavikon
Oh,
Island.
thank you very much. It's great to be back, and I thought I'd bring you a pie. I hear it's kind of difficult to find a good bakery in these parts.
Oh, thank you so much, but it's not the price of admission, so you're welcome anytime.
Okay, as long as I have a piece of that. Let's go. You bet.
43 years ago, Dave's uncle, Don Rickard, bought the two islands between which the American-Canadian border allegedly runs. Or does the border divide the smaller of the two islands where Dave saw the markings? The two men want to solve that mystery today.
So apparently, for local folklore, we are on American land at this point because of this, mysterious marker that we have here. Is this really the international boundary right here, where the cross is?
This mark, the cross that is there, when lined up with the other cross, which is implanted in the rock, forms a line, which is a reference line.
Yes.
And from that, you measure to where the boundary is. Now, I have never gotten into the scientific measurement
Yes.
game, but wherever it is, it's in the water. Because the theory was that it would avoid a lot of disputes between Canada and the U.S. if the boundary line was always in the water wherever possible. So this is one of the functions of that principle.
The border is in the water here too, and not on the small island, but on which side? Is it the shortest international bridge in the world after all?
I would assume that it's on this side, but in respect for the local tourist community, it would be wonderful if it was on that side underneath the bridge. Sometimes the truth hurts in a case like this, and we certainly don't want to break any bubbles for the local tourism industry, but it is, I would probably concur with Don that it would be on the closest side to the shore.
They're right, because in truth, the story of the shortest international bridge is an ancient myth, an advertising stunt from the year 1880 to attract tourists. Both islands, in fact, belong to Canada. The longest bridge in the region is the Thousand Islands Bridge, the most important connection between the United States and Canada because it's the only way of getting from one country to the other by car. The bridge actually consists of a series of bridges and roads over a distance of 13 kilometers. When it was inaugurated in 1938, 150,000 cars crossed it each year. Now that number's risen to 2 million. The 18 men of the Thousand Islands Bridge Authority ensure that the suspension bridge is always well maintained.
There is a certain element of danger to it. All our staff, full-time staff are experienced in doing their work. They are also trained every year. Yeah, each worker, they When they go to the job site, they have all of their, what we refer to as personal protective equipment, be at the very least a hard hat, eye protection, a safety vest.
To do their job, they have to climb up high, 65 meters to the top, on the Canadian side of the river. That's why at least one hook has to be firmly attached. They always work in a team. The two have to paint the main cable with a special paint that protects it from corrosion. Rust is fatal for the steel construction.
I've completely painted the barrel cable, which is our main cable. We call it a barrel cable. And they completely painted that this season. One person was painting it, just finishing it up. There was 2 sections that were left. The other employee was basically checking his work, making sure there was no missed areas or things like that. We really tell all of our employees that are here, full-time employees, they always go back and check any work that's been done to make sure that's been done, to our standard.
In order to paint the bridge with anti-rust paint underneath too, there's a mobile work platform. But they can't get everywhere with it. The workers have to swing about on this big suspension bridge. For Joey and Bill, working at 37 meters is a constant challenge.
When you first started, I was very, very nervous. Very nervous. Even every spring when I get up there today, 34 years later, every spring when you get up there, you still have that feeling in your stomach. You're just nervous. I think if you weren't nervous, I think you would be more concerned.
Joey Wheeler and Bill Moulton have been working together on the bridge for 34 years. Their families have become close friends. They couldn't imagine a better job and are already planning the work for next year.
Hang a pick in the center to get inside.
Right. We put a pick platform right at the very top all the way across.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
So we could do that. Do that again.
Be a big job. We can do it next summer.
They know that the summer months during which they can work are short. They need more than 3,000 liters of paint to paint the bridge completely.
It probably takes, I would say, 7 to 10 years to completely paint the bridge. We never actually finish. Maintaining the coating it's very important, has been very important to maintaining the life of the bridge.
The first island that connects the bridge to the Canadian mainland is Hill Island. It's home to the most striking attraction of the Thousand Islands, the Sky Deck Tower. Up to 22,000 visitors come here in the 3 summer months. Heidi Link, a trained travel and tourism manager from Germany, bought the tower along with the souvenir shop, together with her husband Konrad 2 years ago.
It's definitely a dream come true. I've always wanted to live elsewhere. I've always wanted to live on the water. Even when I was 6, I had a picture of water in my room, and my mother always said I took after my grandmother, who also always wanted to live on the water. Now we live on the water with a great view.
The links get tourists to pay for that view. Many of the Thousand Islands are visible from the 140-meter concrete and steel colossus. A breathtaking view over the St. Lawrence River. Konrad Link, a trained engineer, tries to come to the top of the tower as often as possible.
It was a consideration at first. Would we get tired of the view and of being here? But no, it's always lovely. There's always something new to see. It looks much more dramatic when it's overcast and raining, because when you can see for 30 kilometers, it's never completely overcast. There's always some corner that's still light. That's a great backdrop for the best pictures, when the sun comes through again.
But beautiful as the view is, the German expats earn most money with their bureau de change, not with tickets to the tower. The border's just a few meters away, and so the tower is the first or last opportunity to change money. The links benefit from the border traffic, and it also plays a role in their new business idea, a special shop in the empty building next door.
They're talking about recreational drugs in Canada, meaning marijuana. So this would be a possible spot for that. But the question is, when would that happen? At the moment, it's just an idea. But if that happens, we take that into our program, not least because of the location.
The story of the Thousand Islands is a story of a border region. Right after the American border comes Wellesley Island, the second largest of the Thousand Islands. Next to Hill Island, it's the only one that's connected to the mainland via a bridge. As a result, it feels more like a peninsula than an island. It's home to the Thousand Islands Park, a town founded in 1876. Once a year, the Victorian houses are used as a backdrop for a somewhat strange event.
Every summer at about this time of year, we'd see quiet people with saris walking around, and obviously from India. It was something exotic and a little bit remote.
More than 120 followers of Ramakrishna from all around the world come together in Vivekananda Cottage. Vivekananda was the first Swami and direct successor of Ramakrishna. In 1895, he spent 7 weeks living here with a few students. That's why this house has become an important place of pilgrimage for his followers. Swami Yuktamanda has stepped into his footsteps. The director of the New York Ramakrishna Vivekananda Center spends the entire summer here. This weekend, he instructs his disciples on the path towards enlightenment.
Swami Vivekananda, his prime disciple, came to this country in 1893, and on 9/11, a different 9/11, he spoke on the unity of all religions and the need for harmony. And then he established, during his own visit, a Vedanta society in an organization in New York. That is the first organization that Swami Vivekananda set up to disseminate the truths of Vedanta, the truths enshrined in the Upanishads.
In the eyes of Ramakrishna, all people are God's children. That's why he unites all religions under his spiritual roof. Barry has been a member of Ramakrishna's congregation for more than 40 years. Back then, he was searching for answers, which he found here. There's another spiritual location in the nearby forest. Vivekananda visited it on his last day.
So in this spot he sat and meditated, and his meditation became so profound that he was lost to the world. When the rain started coming, they tried to shield him with their umbrellas. And he, after some time, awakened and said, somehow, I feel that I am back in Calcutta in the rain. Many of our members and friends and devotees come here and meditate in the mornings. So they try to remember Swami Vivekananda's profound meditation and the blessings that he left here.
The end of the Thousand Islands lies 50 kilometers northeast along the St. Lawrence River. Brockville is the oldest town in Ontario. It has a population of 25,000 and is a popular holiday destination. One of the region's most popular diving spots lies here, on the shore near Brockville. Dave Sheridan has organized a spectacular event together with Safe Ontario Shipwrecks. 9 concrete sculptures that he designed with young artists are lowered into the river. Volunteers from all over Ontario have come to Brockville to help.
There are really 2 purposes to sinking the statues. First of all, it is a memorial to divers who have lost their lives and for swimmers in the local area who have lost their lives in the river. Just last week we lost a diver not far from here, and it happens. Diving has become very, very popular in our area. Another reason why we've done this is because the shipwrecks locally have become so popular with this new diving culture that we have locally that it's giving an alternative for divers to go to. So that's relieving a little bit of the stress on the local shipwrecks.
Just a few hundred meters from the artificial dive park is the wreck of an old 3-master. There's a good reason why more and more divers have been coming here.
The river seems to be cleaner now than ever. Zebra mussels have changed it radically. The visibility has increased tenfold, and that is one of the reasons why we have this new explosion of divers, because you can see the wrecks so well now, whereas before the visibility may have been 3 feet. I remember when I started diving back in 1976 or 77, you couldn't see at 50 feet, you could not see your fingertips.
Dave and his companions have done everything they can to make the artificial dive site attractive. Time will tell whether the underwater park will really keep divers away from the old shipwrecks. Dave will continue to fight for that end with all his passion for the underwater world.
It's not just diving, it's just being a part of the river. It becomes your essence, and the people who you grow up with too, you know, they all share that link, and anyway, it's a privilege. It's a blessing to be here, really.
From Brockville, the Thousand Islands extend for a good 80 kilometers along the river all the way to Lake Ontario. Strictly speaking, there aren't 1,000 islands. There are 1,864 or 65. The number fluctuates. In addition to the many small islands, there are lots of rocks that barely emerge from the water or are just below the surface. They can be quite dangerous to boaters. Even experienced skippers regularly sink their boats here. For 38 years now, the organization Save the River has tried to prevent that. Volunteers like John Peach and Kate Breheny mark the dangerous rocks and shallows with buoys like this every year.
We are out with our volunteers. They know their part of the river, and so they are locating and marking the shoals near their home. And that helps everybody, because everybody runs the river. Everybody is aware of where the dangerous shoals are, and they are aware that Save the River and the Thousand Island Association are out marking these locations to protect the boaters from hitting the rocks. And then also it really does help eliminate or prevent any ecological damage in the event that boats do run aground.
We're ready to go splash the marker.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Every spring when the ice has disappeared from the river, they bring out the buoys. In the autumn, shortly before the frost, they have to remove them all again. There are 60 buoys on the American side alone.
Right off the main channel, so a lot of islanders cut through here to go out to their islands, so I think it's a good spot for one. Okay, what do you think?
Every year, 2 further buoys are added, since more and more shallows are reported, like this one near Boldt Castle.
Okay.
Woo! Splashdown! Awesome!
The organization is largely funded by donations and works exclusively with volunteers. Next year, they'll start all over again so that boaters can be warned in time. What about the big tankers and container ships? The St. Lawrence Seaway continues to be an important transport link. 11 lighthouses guide these vessels safely through the dangerous waters, ensuring that they don't run aground. The Rock Island Lighthouse was built in a particularly dangerous spot in 1847. It got its name from the rock it stands on. Today, it's a tourist attraction overseen by Richard Danner.
This area is a very dangerous area. It's known as the American Narrows. And what happens is the main channel gets very narrow here. We still have the same amount of water, the same current going through it. And with it being narrow, it creates the water to move faster, so the ships go faster. And with that, they have a lack of control or not as much control.
There are lots of shallows and reefs. The lights work automatically these days. Until 60 years ago, lighthouse keepers on the island made sure the lighthouse functioned properly.
Their job on the island was quite intense. His most important job was to keep the lighthouse operational. There was a big kerosene lantern that sat up in the top of the lighthouse, and approximately every 2 hours at night, he would have to go up and refill the oil to keep the lantern burning. As soon as the sun came up, he would shut off the lantern, but his job was not done. He still had to clean the lantern and clean the windows so that tonight, when it became dark, it would still function, and it would still function like it was supposed to. But everything that they did was here on the island.
They had to do that on 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. A small lighthouse farm supplied them with the bare necessities. Despite the lighthouses and buoys, many ships ran aground here, such as the General Hancock, which just about managed to reach the shore of this small island in 1938. More than 75 wrecks lie on the bottom of the river in the Thousand Islands region. Most of them are just a few meters under the surface. They're well preserved in the cold, crystal clear water and continue to fascinate those who see them. But not all of the wrecks are easy to find. Dave Sheridan is going on a very special dive in Clayton in the US today. He wants to look for the oldest wreck of the Thousand Islands, for the Iroquois, together with his friend, the wreck expert and historian, Dennis McCarthy.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dennis, how are you?
Good. Ready to go diving?
Yeah, I am. Ready to dive into a little bit of history today.
Go back 250 years in time and see the last warship flew under the French flag.
Okay, that's great.
A charter boat will take the man to the wreck. Dennis found the Iroquois in the 90s together with an underwater archaeologist. Up until then, nobody had really suspected that it still existed.
You know, what I find really exciting about this is here's a ship that I thought was just lost in the history. How did you know that it was the Iroquois?
We did a 3-year study. We measured, we recorded, we didn't disturb anything. We documented exactly what was down there, generated photo mosaics and drawings, and through the measurements that indicated she was constructed under Imperial French feet, which is pre-Napoleonic, he was able to conclude this was the Iroquois.
The French warship that sank in the St. Lawrence River in 1761. The expedition is like a journey back into the shared history of North America. That's one reason they're excited. Dave is Canadian and Dennis is American. Shortly before the Niagara Shallows, Dennis stops the boat. The Iroquois struck a leak here. It must be nearby.
I'd like you to take the lead.
Okay.
Again, this is unfamiliar territory to me.
If we get separated and you can't find us, come back up the slope because you'll
That's
surface
right.
near
if
the...
it's an emergency situation, go up,
Yeah.
the cliff.
Yep.
Okay, good enough.
Okay.
Even though the water's clear, they don't know whether they'll be able to find the wreck. They can't see anything from above. The men quickly reach the bottom. They're at a depth of 25 meters. No sign of the wreck. But then suddenly they see the first outlines of the ribs of the wooden vessel. Is this the 250-year-old Iroquois? And indeed, the intervals of the drilled holes corresponds to the French measurement. Proof that this is the warship they were looking for. The two-master sank in 1761 after the British seized the vessel during the 7 Years' War. The French and British were fighting for dominance in North America at the time, supported by their respective Native American allies. Hence the name Iroquois, after the Iroquois tribe. It's time for the divers to return to the surface.
Fantastic. That was exceptional. Whew.
Even though there are wrecks in the St. Lawrence River that are better preserved, none are evidence of this early period of North America's settlement.
Oh, that was a fantastic sight. Whew. I've always wanted to see that. Now it's a reality. Oh, wow.
Once a year, the old sailboats are brought back to life. The Canadians commemorate the War of 1812 with the Tall Ships event. The Second American War of Independence is still viewed as a successful fight against the American attempts at invasion. It formed the foundation for the national identity that was developing. One of the ships every year is the Faass, even though the 34-meter two-master is only 35 years old. Today, young people between 12 and 19 can complete a sail camp here under the command of Captain Caitlin Simpson. The 32-year-old from Ottawa is a passionate sailor.
I like sailing. I like the feeling of being self-sufficient. I like the idea of not having to rely on the engine to move and to be able to bend the elements to our will. Sometimes I wish we had a little more open water, but it's so neat seeing the landscapes around here and seeing how close we can get to shore as well. Some places you could almost jump onto the islands. It's so deep, so close to shore.
Everyone has to help out on the sailboat. In addition to the young people, there's also a young crew who train the cadets. "16-year-old Aaron Allen from London, Ontario, is here for the first time. But after 2 weeks, she already knows she wants to come back as a crew member.
Yeah, it is a lot of hard work. Like, by the end of the day, we're usually exhausted, but it's a lot of fun and it's definitely worth it. And it's nice to be out of our house, like especially with school and stuff, you're usually sitting down all day and you don't really get to see other parts of where you live. And it's really nice to be out in the water and traveling to different ports as well.
Ready to set the main! Aye, ready to set the main!
This isn't a relaxing holiday camp, it's hard work. The tone is correspondingly tough. 16-year-old Brian was here last year. It's not a problem for him. He loves sailing.
Pick up! You ready? You ready? Are you ready?
I personally, I'm just used to that. It's not something you can feel bad or worse about. When you know you're signing up to sail a vessel, a tall ship like this, you're signing on to be a part of a crew that takes orders from the commanding officer to get the job done. Whether it's furling a sail, setting a sail, doesn't matter. I wasn't really expecting please and thank you for this and that. It takes a lot of time if you're going to be nice about everything.
Goldthorpe, lay in with those buntlins and clelands. Send Hounsel to the starboard tack if nobody's already there. All the way higher. Aye.
It took almost 2 hours, then all the 7 sails are in place. This is an important bit of life experience for the young people. They learn about discipline and teamwork. During their time on the 18th century replica vessel, the crew and cadets lived together in tight quarters, 24 hours a day, sleeping and eating. That's why they eat in 2 shifts, for half an hour. There isn't more time than that. Life on board isn't luxurious. The crew and Captain Caitlin Simpson won't get rich doing this job. Nevertheless, she can't think of anything better.
There's not a lot of tall ships in the world, and definitely not a lot of professional tall ship sailors. It's definitely something you have to enjoy to do. If I wanted to make money on boats, I wouldn't be doing this. I would be on an oil boat of some kind, a tanker. But I tried that and I missed the sailing, so I came back to the sailboats, and it's fun working with the kids, so I do enjoy it.
Make ready! Fire!
The ship is of great significance to the region. That's demonstrated by the music video of a popular band from Toronto too. For the Great Lake swimmers, the Thousand Islands are an important source of inspiration. Since band leader Tony Decker saw the Thousand Islands for the first time 8 years ago, he can't forget about them.
We had a really quite a deep connection to the Thousand Islands area once we got to know it a little bit more, and found it to be very inspiring. And not only did we have our music affected by the area, but we, I think, attempted to document it in certain ways too, by recording in different places within the Thousand Islands.
8 years ago, photographer Ian Corriston helped them find the right locations for the album Lost Channel. Today, he shows Tony the aquarium in Brockville.
You always have liked to record in acoustically interesting spaces. Maybe this is it.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful building, and it sounds pretty good in here too.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, maybe
Want to give it a shot?
Yeah.
See how it sounds?
Sounds good. Yeah. We normally try to find unique and special places to record that are away from like the traditional studio, and I think that, you know, finding a place that either has like special acoustics or an atmosphere or is historical in some way. Places like that are charged with a certain kind of energy, I think, and it's that kind of energy that draws a kind of performance out of a musician by, you know, taking that extra effort to bring the studio to a place instead of, you know, bringing the music to a studio.
The indie folk band comes here as often as possible. Today, they're giving a small concert for their friends to give something back to the region and its inhabitants.
Some of the songs were specifically written in the area and specifically for this region, and some of them were meant to be documented in the area, you know. So as an ongoing thing, it's kind of become a sort of a spiritual home almost for the band, and I think that inspiration continues. It's really easy when you look at the area to see how an artist can be inspired by it, I think, whether it's a writer or a painter or a photographer.
There's reason to celebrate a bit further upriver too. It's the 4th of July, a public holiday in the United States, and the tower on the border is open in the evening for once. But at the moment, the guests from the United States still have to wait. Heidi is making the final preparations at the top. In addition to a good view, the baker's daughter is hosting a dinner. She has spent 6 hours in the kitchen, baking, chopping, and preparing.
We're expecting 70 guests. This is a great success for us. We started with 15 and now we're at 70. We're really happy. We've been booked out since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm ready. Can you let everyone in, please?
Yes. Has everyone paid?
Tickets were only available in advance for $25, 17 euros. In return, the guests will get homemade cakes, as much as anyone wants to eat.
It's not all German. We have to serve our customers' tastes. There's no point if we like it. They've got to like it.
The highlight tonight isn't the buffet, but like always, the view of the panorama of the 1,000 islands. On Independence Day, the guests are mostly looking towards the United States.